It's open enrollment 2026, and there's all these acronyms on the paperwork that your employer gave you. So let's talk through the spending accounts piece. So FSAs, HSAs, and DCAs. Those are the three we're going to talk about today. Let's start with the FSA. Nate, you're going first.
Flexible spending account. So a lot of us have utilized these over the years. As an employee for many years before I became a benefits consultant, I utilized an FSA. An FSA, to keep it simple, is an account that you can use for the calendar year. You use it or you lose it. And it is still a pre-tax availability, so you're putting away money pre-tax, and you're essentially putting into a bank account for medical type expenditures. Now, it is becoming increasingly more, priority is the government making sure that you're spending the right things on the right cost. So ultimately, there's a lot of compliance orientation around that. But an FSA has a limit, and those limits are something to be looked at and make sure you stay within the range that you need to. But the primary thing is use it or lose it. And you want to have a budget, and you want to think about the costs that you have that are up and coming, understanding the money you're putting away, you're going to use that in the entire calendar year because it'll go away.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind that FSAs can be used for medical, they can be used for dental, and they can be used for vision. So you do have three options, kind of three categories, if you will. So it's not just about your medical spend. If you're going to need new glasses, if you've got a kid in contacts, if you've got a kid who's going to need a special sports guard from your eye doctor, those kind of things, look at your FSA or HSA here in a minute. Look at those spending accounts as options, factor that in. But as an HR person, I cannot tell you how many phone calls I take every year in December, usually about the week before Christmas, when everybody calls me in a panic and goes, Lindsay, I have $2,000 left in my FSA and it's almost the end of the year. What do I do? And I go, best of luck to you. This is why we insisted that you pay attention during open enrollment. When we told you these things, I'm just being honest. This is what it really looks like, okay?
Yeah.
All right. You have to be your own advocate. You are an adult. You are responsible for knowing this stuff. So make sure that, like Nate said, we're going to say this like 100 times when it comes to FSAs. It is use it or lose it.
Yep.
So make intelligent, informed, intentional decisions about how much money you're going to put into an FSA to make sure that you're going to use it.
Love it.
All right. HSAs.
So HSA, personal favorite. I'm not saying it's recommended for you. You have to look at your personal situation, understand what's going to be best for your family. An HSA is coupled with a high deductible healthcare plan, so you have to have that. So make sure as you're thinking about the options, an HSA coupled with a high deductible healthcare plan is the priority. What's unique about an HSA versus an FSA is it is not a use it or lose it option. You can roll it over year. An HSA is unique in the sense that you can actually reimburse yourself 20 years, 25 years later. So you can keep all your receipts, and that HSA solution, or I guess you'd say account, can sit there and be an additional savings option. Eventually, and again, look at the regulations and how it works, you can take some of that money and start investing into a retirement option. Again, all pre-tax based, and gives you more flexibility than potentially an FSA. I would tell you that different plan types and different options are dependent on, again, your personal situation, right? So again, I mentioned it's coupled with a high deductible healthcare plan. That's the only options, but it is not a use it or lose it, and it gives you the availability to be more flexible. So that's why I personally love it, because it is another savings type opportunity. Again, I'm not advocating for either one, just making sure you understand the differences between the two.
Yeah, and as the name says, health savings account, it's a bank account. You own that account, so should you choose to leave your employer at a date in the future, HSAs go with you, FSAs do not. So that's something else to keep in mind. I personally have done that. I was on high deductible plans forever, and I had a very nice healthy nest egg sitting in that HSA when I first became self-employed. Guess how I paid for everything when I first became self-employed? I used that HSA money from a prior employer. It is one of the things that gave me the ability to go self-employed, knowing my health insurance situation was going to change.
Awesome. Everyone's
situation is different. You'll also hear a lot of talk right now in the HSA space about using them as a partnership to retirement. Right? Like we've said, they roll over, they're your money, you never lose it. So if you are in a situation where a high deductible health plan makes sense for you, With that HSA option, there are limits to how much you can put in there each year. The IRS sets a limit each year, and it is different if you are on the medical plan by yourself or if you're on the medical plan with dependents. There are two different numbers there. Check the IRS website for what the what the contribution limit is for the current year. But those options can roll. You can build a pretty healthy account over time, particularly for those of you that are in your 20s right now, where you're like, I'm healthy and nobody can stop me. High deductible plans are great in those situations. With that HSA, it's pre-tax money going into your HSA account. It earns interest pre-tax. And as long as you follow the rules forever and ever and ever about withdrawing it, it is pre-tax going out. So it's a great way to impact your tax situation, provide options as you age when your healthcare expenses do eventually go up as you get older. It's part of life. And it provides you with options. And options are what we all want, right? We want to be able to make the choice that makes the most sense for us. This is one of those options.
And Lindsay, what's also really cool about both plan types is look at your employee benefits guide. This is open enrollment season. Understand what kind of contributions your employer is giving you. This is free money. So by signing up for an FSA account, sometimes your employer matches or gives a certain amount of money into your FSA program. Think about it from the HSA perspective. Obviously, FSA is use it or lose it, right? But an HSA, if you're utilizing that and your employer is giving you $1,000 to utilize an HSA account, that's pre-tax money. We just talked about a retirement plan, a great way to make an extra dollar or two, but think about the compounding effect on that money over time. I'm not a 401k person, I'm not a retirement expert, but think about that from you're a younger person-ish, whatever that means, or you're looking to make more investments. A simple way to do that is to look at your employee benefits guide and understand how much is the employer giving you to jump onto a high deductible plan with an HSA or a PPO with a flexible spending account. There is money out there that your employer is giving you to be a part of the organization to make your life easier. And these little, small, simple things shows you why employers care about their employees and how they want to take care of them. Sometimes they don't offer a match. That doesn't mean your employer doesn't care about you. It just means that you should understand in your employee benefits guide or asking your HR team during open enrollment, hey, what is the contribution to an HSA or an FSA program? And understanding the two plan types could give you a better idea of, well, if I don't use it on an FSA, maybe I should look at that high deductible plan with an HSA because that money will roll over year over year. So I'm getting free money from my employer and it rolls over and gives me the ability to make a retirement contribution.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this again, in both the FSA and HSA situation, there are rules on how you can use that money. It is not a free-for-all. It cannot cover beer night. It cannot cover your college football game. Those are not ways that you can spend it. Retail therapy is not covered by it either. So make sure that you do find out and be very attentive and very aware on how you spend that money, because under the current regulations as of October 3rd of 2025, subject to change at any time, but under the current regulations, you receive triple taxation if you spend that money incorrectly. So what you thought was pre-tax going in, earning interest pre-tax, and going out pre-tax is now triple taxation on the way out because you used it incorrectly. So please make sure that you educate yourself, you advocate for yourself, and know what is legit and what is not, so that you spend the money the way you're supposed to and you don't get hit with a really nasty gift from Uncle Sam. All right, last spending account. I know I have opinions on these, you probably do too. Let's talk about DCA plans, dependent care accounts. What are they and what's the pros and cons of them?
Yeah, they're pretty limited in how you can spend the money in those accounts. They're set up for, typically you have a dependent that needs care or some kind of situation where you have someone who you're putting in to a care provided facility, or also for family members that you have a young child that you need to utilize it for it. But it's very minimal and it's very simply structured so that you can put away money pre-tax for that. Funny story, before I became an employee benefits broker, I signed up for a dependent care program, thought it was an FSA, and created a lot of HR issues for the company that I worked with. Fortunately, I worked with a good HR team that helped me move it. So the reason we're doing these videos is about education. So when you're going through open enrollment, look at what you're signing up for and make sure you're thinking about the three plan types we're talking about. Dependent care is very simply for dependents, right? And if you don't have any dependents and you don't have any specific daycare items or things that are going on associated to that, typically you don't want to sign up for that. You want to look at the FSA or HSA. I'm sure Lindsay has a lot more to talk about with that, because I actually have 2 small children and I didn't do the dependent care conversation, but that's for my unique situation. Maybe different for you. You might have 2 working parents, or you might be a single parent, and this may be a great option for you to pay for some of that. It wasn't necessarily an option for me, but for others, again, in all of these conversations, it's about the individual and giving those options to them and making sure we're taking care of the families the right way.
Yeah, so the biggest thing, and I cannot encourage this enough, even more so than the FSA and HSA conversation, DCAs have rules. They have red tape associated with them. There are very specific rules on how you can spend it. And again, if you mess it up and you spend it wrong, it is triple taxation. So it is super, super, super critically important that you read and do your homework before you sign up for a DCA plan. There is a maximum each year set by the IRS on how much you can put into a DCA plan. And a DCA plan, you can only spend what is in the account. Based on the rules right now, again, October 3rd, 2025, it's a $5,000 limit. I don't know about you, I don't personally have kids, but all my friends that do talk about it, find me a quality daycare in Phoenix for $5,000 a year. No, it's like $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
It's really expensive. Yes, it can help with the cost. I'm not saying that it can't. But I am saying that there are a lot of strings. It's way more complicated than what it looks like on the surface. So you need to do your homework before you sign up for a DCA plan. I get that it sounds great. And again, for some people, it's going to be fantastic. But make sure that that's you and that it is going to fit your needs before you sign up for this and have money taken out of your check only to find out that you can't use it.
Yeah, I mean, all plan types are great options for everybody. And again, individuals need to look at their situations. I find that as you continue to go through life is think about the options you have. I focused on this, but look at your employee benefit guide. That is such an important tool to understand what your employer is offering so that you can make the best decisions possible. The employee benefit guide is also something that's changing. There's QR codes availability, there's online availability, but I didn't look at employee benefit guides until really I became an employee benefits broker, and I'm encouraging people, yes, it's a guide you typically throw away or you don't spend time on it, but it's super important. As an employee benefits broker in the market, we do spend time looking at these and making sure they're fun and educational, but that's one of the few ways that you can educate yourself on your employer-sponsored plan. Sit down, and yes, you may fall asleep to it at night, but at least you're taking the time to look at it and understanding what is offered, and then ask your employer questions about that so that you're making the best business decisions or best decisions for your family and the care that you're trying to help them with.
Yeah, the last thing we'll say on spending accounts is that in this category, it doesn't matter who your employer is, the rules are all the same because they are all set by the IRS. So when you are in doubt, when you have questions, a great resource is irs.gov. The website is phenomenal for these types of things to help you. I do not recommend ChatGPT for this one. Go to the correct source. Go to irs.gov. Find the answer to your question on the IRS's website itself. That is the source of truth, and it is true no matter who your employer is, no matter what state you're located in. This one, the rules are the same across the board. Use your resources. If you do that homework, you go to irs.gov and you're still confused, talk to your HR department, talk to your company's benefit broker. They are there to help you. We went through a lot of stuff today. I get there may still be questions. Nate and I are happy to help you as much as we can based on comments on the video, but before you reach out to us, talk to your HR department, talk to your company's benefit broker. They are going to be best suited to assist you as they are the most familiar with your plan designs.
Yep.